What's up, everyone? Welcome back to TBM Sports. Let's get into the Thursday Night Football. We have a matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. I'm going to break it down from a side, total, and some props that I do favor in this game. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you were able to cash a bunch of tickets that we had going in the NBA and NFL yesterday. Very profitable day across the board. Had a lot of parlays come home as well. It was one that was kind of very opportunistic if you were on board with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Those game scripts played out to a T. And we're going to look to keep this going into Week 17, where this game, quite frankly, if it wasn't Thursday night, I'd cross it off the board. This is one of the worst games of the Week 17 slates. So I'm going to share with you guys kind of where the money's at, where I'm at, and then hopefully at the end of this video, you'll be able to make the best bets possible, okay? So let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, all right, please, all I ask is that you like, comment, and subscribe right down below, all right? Smash that like button, and feel free to leave your picks in the comments, all right? Also, if you want to join over on Discord, totally free to do so, link down below. And if you want to give back to the channel, become a member here at TBM, link down for that, $9.99 a month, okay? So let's hit it. Let's get down into Outlier. This is what I use kind of for the majority of my insights and data that I do compile. Also, the best odds available. Really helps within live betting as well. 7-day free trial, link in the description for that. Okay. Now, within this game with the Seattle and Chicago, a couple things you have to understand. Seattle is kind of holding on for dear life to make the playoffs. Very, very slim chance, right? It's all dependent on what the Rams do. And if you haven't been watching Seattle, Kenneth Walker is going to be out for this game, so we do get a heavy dose of Charbonnet. Also, the Seattle offensive line, probably the worst offensive line unit in football. So couple that with Geno Smith, and what we get is a lot of sacks, the potential for a lot of turnovers, and that's kind of what we look for in a game where Chicago maybe not is the best candidate this time of year, right? There's a lot of narratives I'm going to break down, but they do play a very prideful attacking defense. Now, the biggest thing going is Matt Eberflus out for Chicago, obviously. They don't really have a head coach. They're just kind of treading water, and now on a short week, kind of the day after Christmas, mind you, they are at home welcoming in the Seattle Seahawks. Now, why this is interesting, okay, just put it in your mind, all right? Seattle has an interesting game script, maybe an advantage in some way, but they did probably Christmas morning and then got on a plane and then flew to Chicago. Short week, probably only two, maybe two legitimate practice days. Not enough time for install. Geno Smith, more of a veteran quarterback, doesn't really need it, but still, it's going to be a very vanilla game plan, almost kind of like a backyard football kind of, I guess you would say, script. And where that leads me to is why I like points in this game, okay? I don't think really there's going to be defense played for both sides. I think that Seattle is more equipped on offense, and if you saw kind of what the Bears were able to do last week, it leads me into the argument, right? 34-17 against Detroit. They gave up a crap ton of points. It was ugly, but they were able to scratch across 17. So I'm not saying that Seattle is the Detroit Lions offense, but very serviceable. DK Metcalf, Charbonnet's no joke. A halfway decent tight end. And Geno Smith can put points up on the board, okay? Also, Jaxon Smith-Njigba has come on rather strong, and also we get the ever-so-reliable Tyler Lockett on the back end as well. So, for me, guys, the injury report kind of lines up where Chicago's waving that white flag. If you look at them right now, 4-11 on the season, kind of just jockeying for NFL draft position. So, every bone in my body says, okay, Seattle's going to run away with this one. But it's not so fast, right? Not so fast for me. I think if you were going to play a side, it's ugly, it's nasty, it's contrarian. It goes against kind of everything football logic-wise. But it does kind of resemble that Chicago is the right side for my money, okay? We can see that with the betting splits right now. If you want to look at it, 97% of the spread handle is on the Seahawks. We do have an overwhelmingly amount also for the over, a little discrepancy as well. The better in me wants to take the 4 points with Chicago, but I'm just not going to do that, okay? I'm going to stay away from that, but I do see points in this game, so over 42.5 will be a play for me, okay? So let's get into some props, and I kind of mapped out the game and how I feel about it. But I want to share with you guys kind of where I'm at. Some insights, too, worth noting. Chicago, 8 out of their last 11 games, they did cover the spread at home. So that's 73% with a push. So right now, Chicago +4, that's a side that kind of jumps off the page at me, but I'm not in love with it. I'm going to be staying away from it, but if you force me to take a side, I think the correct side, the sharper side, will be Chicago, okay? Seattle, 10 out of their last 12 as a favorite, winning on the money line. So, that's kind of the argument we can make. I do like Seattle to win a game. I just think that the points may be worth it here with the Bears. All right. Also, if we want to look at the under, that's something that is kind of intriguing. 11 out of their last 15 games as an underdog, the under has cashed. But for me, guys, I don't think there's going to be a lick of defense played on both sides. So I do think that these offenses are good enough to put up some points. And I think 42 is that number I'm going to look for. 42.5 right now is what we can find readily available in the market. So if you want to take the over 42.5, that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I'll be on to go along with some of the props in this game. And to get there, we're going to first talk about DJ Moore, okay? This is one that I do like a lot, hitting out of their last 5 appearances that DJ Moore hit 7, 8, 6, 8, and 7 receptions, respectively. Right now we get over 5.5, and this is a number where you can find it -113. He catches a lot of screens. They've been utilizing him as a running back out of the backfield a lot, handoffs, but he does really have the key because they do throw him the ball as a reception behind the line of scrimmage quite often. So I think that he gets 2, maybe 3 of those, and then a couple downfield grabs, and I think that's enough to get us home over that 5.5. So DJ Moore over the 5.5 receptions is a bet that I am going to be on. Okay, next, I do want to talk about one of my favorite players right now in the game, kind of doing a lot of things under the radar. That is going to be Jaxon Smith-Njigba. We're going to get to that. First, I do want to note that Caleb Williams, if you want to look at his interceptions, all right, for 2024, okay, he's only thrown 5 interceptions as a rookie. That's fairly impressive, okay? Gotten burned going over that. I don't think it's, a bet that I'm going to be making, but I do see a way that, Caleb Williams, a lot of those kind of passes he throws, upwards of 40-plus attempts a game, too. Very interesting that he has not thrown more than 5 interceptions and only thrown an interception in 3 games on the season. So that's something to kind of take note of. It doesn't make me shy away from, a favorable matchup where he goes against a good secondary with pressure. That's something that does set up for an over just for him to throw a pick. But that's kind of where I'm at. It's very unique, kind of an outlier in itself, that a rookie quarterback only has 3 games of the season so far that he has thrown an interception. So we'll see if that happens. But kind of where it's going to lead me into Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Longest reception, right? That's where he's been over this in 5 of his last 5 games. Right now, all we need is 23.5. He gets it kind of right on the head. So a lot of their pass routes probably set up for this. These are probably just, I don't know how much yards after the catch this is, but 23.5, we're going to go over that. And I think it's fairly a comfortable number, too, because if he does break a big one, we're going to cover this with ease, okay? I'm a big fan of betting longest reception, and that's kind of where I'm at with JSN. Also, reception yards, okay? Look at this number here. 59.5 is what you can find out there in the market if you do use certain sites, but 69.5 is kind of what's readily available. -119. Basically 70 yards for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. That's kind of where I'm at. All the sports books are offering that. Last game, 95 yards against Minnesota. Taking JSN over 69.5. All right, that's where one of my best bets will be to go along with longest reception and DJ Moore receptions going over 5.5. Another angle you could take is the Zach Charbonnet touchdown. It's a little bit chalky, but I do think there's a clear-cut avenue that he does find the end zone, okay? But that's where I would be pretty much the only thing comfortable playing out of the running game. Not going to play any quarterback rushing. Potentially, you could take both quarterbacks, go over their rushing attempts. That's something that is more of a lean, not an official play. But the last bet that I do like, and this is something I do bet often if you guys follow me, it's going to be the kicking points, okay? So if we talk about Jason Myers, I'm going to pull this up for you guys. We're going to go over 6.5 kicking points for Jason Myers. 28th is the ranking for Chicago giving up kicks. He's hit this in 60% of his last games, and this is pulled up a little bit incorrectly, okay? So right now you can find it, best number available is -135. If we want to look at this, guys, he's had 4, 8, 12, 7, and 6 in his last 5 games. And like I said, a plus matchup going against Seattle or against Chicago, where they give up 28th in the NFL in kicking points against. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. He's exceeded 6.5 kicking points in 7 of his last 8 games on the road. Chicago plays a stifling defense where even if they don't have a lot of game prep, I do think that Seattle is going to be able to move the ball a lot, but potentially stalling out on third down and resulting in field goals. So basically just 1 touchdown and 2 field goals gets us home. That's where I'm going to go Jason Myers over 6.5 kicking points, okay? So that about wraps it up. Those are my best bets. Appreciate you guys for following along. And as always, guys, we'll see you over in the Discord. We'll be talking a little bit later. I will have a college football video up as well. We have 3 bowl games on today, so make sure you turn on that notification bell and look for that. Also, be sure to give me a follow on X. The handle is in the bottom left of your screen. Appreciate you guys. Good luck tonight, and we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.